Hey, everybody, Carm Capriato, Remarkable Results Radio and the Town Hall Academy. Do I have a really cool show planned for you today? I want you to meet my panel. Here they is. Fernando, Miranda, Vice President, Transformers Institute. Fernando.
Good to see you, Carm.
Same here. Yeah, we're happy to have you. Kevin and Aleta Delany, Europro Autohaus and Valley Pro Autohaus, two shops in Kelowna, British Columbia. Hey, Aleta. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you for coming. Jeremy Behling is here. Let me see, Yampa Valley Tire Pros, 4-Star Auto Repair, Auto Service Center, Renegade Auto Repairs in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Is that 4 stores?
4 locations. One of them is actually over a mountain pass from us in Kremling. So 3 in Steamboat, 1 in Kremling, Colorado.
A mountain pass.
Yes, Rabbit Ears Pass is actually, there's a couple little rabbit ears up on top of the mountain you can go look at.
I'm just, no one's ever said mountain pass on my show ever in 8 years. Mountain pass. I love that. How cool is that? I mean, you're in God's country, right?
I believe so.
Wow.
I would second that, by the way, Jeremy. It's a beautiful country.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Hey, guys and ladies, to all of our listeners, we're going to talk about paying it forward today. And this isn't going to be an inspiration podcast. We're going to teach you about business, but from a completely different, more heartful and more emotional side. Our goal is to talk philanthropy. Our goal is to talk about what are you doing in your own communities. Our goal is concepts from this episode that you can relate and bring to your community. And we are going to nail it home about you inspiring others inside of your community to do some things that happened at the Transformers conference in Cancun last year. And it was November 30th through December 1st in Cancun. Tracy and I were lucky enough to be there. We did some recordings and I was interviewing one of the speakers while this whole thing was going on. And I came out, everybody's crying. There's these tissue boxes everywhere. And it was such an emotional build a bike program. We can't wait to tell you about it. Maybe you can even bring this concept to your community. But when we get a chance on the podcast to talk about stuff that's from the heart, because we're a professional organization we're mainstays in our community to keep people safe and reliable, know, like, and trust us. That the challenge is are we doing enough in our community? But before we get started, high fives to our great sponsors. Some days you wish you had a traffic cop in your shop to keep order. Well, Shopware installed red-green lights inside its workflow page. It shows you when parts have arrived so you can go with the repair. It's brilliant. Get shopware.com. And hey, when you turn to Delphi Technologies for your chassis needs, quality is always forefront. Material and dimensional enhancements, as well as 700 hours worth of salt spray testing, goes into each and every chassis part produced. Visit DelphiAftermarket.com to see over 8,000 chassis parts that Delphi has in stock for you. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. Hey, Fernando, we want you to set the stage here so our listener gets an idea of what Build a Bike was all about. And of course, part of the reasons you guys did that and how Aleta, Kevin, and Jeremy fit into this picture.
Yeah, thanks, Carm. I think before I can tell you about that event, I'll tell you when we did our first summit for Transformers, we did it in Miami. And, I knew that we had to have a team building element that needed to be fun and kind of challenge everyone and kind of get the competitive juices going, right? And I think the event we did in Miami hit all those marks. And so when we started planning our event in Cancun, I was looking for kind of the same formula. And it wasn't until I connected with the gentleman's name down there. He runs an events company down there, Jordan McDonald. We started talking about, hey, I want to do a team building that is going to be fun and challenging and all of that, right? And he introduced me to a lot of what he does with different corporations that go down to the Cancun area, which has a lot to do with giving to the local community. And I got really intrigued by it. And I thought, all right, well, it still hits all the other marks. But most importantly, I think it highlights what a lot of our shop owners that are part of Transformers are already doing, which is being more involved with the communities where they do business. And I thought, hey, well, you know what? We're in Cancun. We're actually conducting business, and what a great opportunity to do something fun, but with an element of giving to the local community. And it turned out to be a very, very special event. And I think a lot has come from that event. But if nothing else, it also highlights the one of the benefits of being in this industry and being able to build a successful business is that it gives you the ability to, affords you the ability and the means to be more involved with your communities, right? And I think I'm glad we're talking about this today, because I know that, Jeremy, Aleta, and Kevin, they did not want to come on your show and brag about them or what they were doing, but I figure I can do that for them, because I think it's important, because it'll highlight what I guess the importance of being involved with the local communities as well.
Yeah, most of us, I don't think, like to brag about what we do from a philanthropic perspective. We just
Right.
don't. It's personal. It's in the heart. But the reason that I asked to do this, and thank you guys so much for coming on, I just want everybody to get a total feel as to why this was so heartful, and how you can take what happened in Cancun and what Kevin, Aleta, and Jeremy did and bring it to your own community. It was, I mean, there's some phenomenal things that happened because of Build a Bike, and it and how it was so involved in, and basically, Aleta, Kevin, Jeremy, you change people's lives. Isn't that what it's all about?
Carmel, I would maybe take that a
Yep.
step further, and not around changing people's lives, but doing one of the two things that we're really called to do, right? And that is love our neighbor. It can be thought of, who's your neighbor? Well, I see it as anybody that we're in contact with, right? And it builds our communities, but in reality, when we look out for those around us, those that we're in contact with, whether it be in our local community, or in this case, when we were down in Cancun, it allowed us an opportunity to love on our neighbors, folks that maybe we don't see them ever again, right? But in that moment, they were there, they were with us, and it, for me, was an opportunity to pass along some of the blessings that have been bestowed upon me to them, and fulfill one of the two major things I'm called to do.
I'm going to be silent for a moment, Aleta and
Yeah,
Kevin, so you can
we were
chime
exactly
in.
the same. So we were fortunate, and it was just, yeah, it was just so life changing. Just being able to actually meet the people that you were changing their world for. Giving a bike to Maria, in our case, she's never ridden a bike before. But it's going to change her ability to get to the village to do her day-to-day stuff that would usually take a lot longer, obviously walking or relying on some other form of transportation. So and the one thing that changed me, or us, as Aleta and myself, was we were able to sponsor Maria after the event to go to school, to go to university, for such little amount, compared to what we pay in Canada or the US to go to university or college. It's just a drop in the bucket. So, yeah, we've actually been able to officially sponsor her herself.
So let me just do a little setup, Aleta. Guys, just come in and interrupt me as I'm going. You guys were putting bikes together, and people from the community were going to end up getting these bikes. So you hammer, nail, wrench. Again, I was in the studio recording, so I really never saw it happen. But explain the moment the children, the kids, the community came in, got their bikes, and then you saw Aleta and Jeremy and Kevin, another opportunity in front of you. Give us some details of what was going on.
I'll step back to the start of it. So we came into the room and there was tables everywhere, and we were told to pick a table, pick a color. And at each table was a picture of a student. And these are students that are high achieving at school. And they had their picture and a profile. So we were given a little bit background on the student at the table we were at, and we were in groups. So it was really personable, having a real person that we were going to be building a bike for. So then we had a team building event where we build the bike, we do some other things along with it. And so it was just really moving having this, this profile. And then unsurprisingly, at the end, when we were all done, the students actually came into the room. And that was very moving to see the students, meet them, give them their bike, their helmet, like everything came along with it, a lock and everything. And some of the students were able to ride a bike. Some had never been on a bike before. So we had her on the bike. We were moving her around the room, kind of showing her how it works as she's sitting on the seat. It was just really rewarding. And like Kevin said, it's a means of transportation for them, for groceries. There's baskets on the bikes, to school. And yeah, it was a pretty spectacular experience.
Had she ever ridden a bike before?
No, she had never been on. Our student had never been on one before.
When did you find out she was going to go to college?
Kevin, I'll let you speak to that one.
After the bike, yeah. After the bike build, we were, I, through an interpreter, was talking with her and just asking, what her plans were. And she proudly said that she was studying to become an accountant. And then, so Aleta's an accountant. So I had just said, my wife is one, and she was like just over the top ecstatic, meeting another accountant from another country. And so I just asked her, what, through the interpreter, she didn't really have a lot of the answers, Maria. So I asked the interpreter what the plans were, like how this works. Can we move forward with this? Like, is this something that, anyone can give to? Is this just a starting point or launch pad? And so anyways, it took a little bit for me to get all the information, but it was, after meeting Maria, it was just like, it was such a special event that it was hard to not pursue, this endeavor of helping her out, changing her family's life, her life for the future.
Yeah, generations going forward too.
Amazing. Jeremy, what was your role? Were you on that team? Same team?
No. So my situation with that was I saw so many lives being moved in that room that it was hard to put it all into context in that moment. However, as we were wrapping up and they're making some presentations, it was announced that Greg and Elena Bunch and Fernando and the Transformers team were looking to make a donation to the fund, to the scholarship fund for those kids. And I know in our community what little money does in terms of positive impact for folks. And so seeing what Greg and his team were doing in that moment, I felt it in my heart that I could follow the rules of compounding, if you will. I was a commercial banker before in my life in auto repair, and the rules of compounding are true. And so in that opportunity, I felt compelled and blessed to be able to match the donation that the Transformers group was giving to double the opportunity that was being presented in that room to the KISS organization. And so it was a moment in time to have impact on many lives. And again, the compounding that comes from that, you give these kids the opportunity to grow and to learn and to advance their careers. And it's the ripple effect. It goes out from there, it compounds into their families and into their communities, and hopefully eventually those kids that we're helping, it moves downward into their families and their children, and for generations to come, the opportunity that comes with it, hopefully, is felt well beyond what we were able to do in that room in that moment.
So you matched what the Transformers did, and I will not tell about the amount of money, but it was substantial. And then Aleta and Kevin, you guys did something on your own for Maria, right?
Yes,
That's right. Yeah, we
through the organization.
sponsored her directly.
And
Yeah.
was that to cover all of her college what you did?
Yeah, 4 years of college. And
Amazing.
she starts later this year.
Totally amazing. Wow.
And the
You-
other thing is, I just want to say, like, other children, kids in their communities, seeing, someone in their community, their neighbor, whatever, seeing, a friend of theirs being able to have these opportunities, be able to follow their dreams, gives other children the, potentially the ability to say, wow, if she can do it, I could do it too. And give them the motivation to feel that they can also follow their dreams and achieve it as well.
So inspiring. How can we get across to our industry for people who are not involved in community, but still, I've interviewed a lot of people that will help with vehicles. They'll help with outreach communities, religious communities, and say, listen, you probably have someone needs to get to work, but they just don't have the transportation. The vehicle's in the yard, but it doesn't run. How can we help? There's a lot of that going on, but I just don't feel that there's enough of that going on.
I would agree with that. And the approach that we've taken with our community and our businesses is, again, you reap what you sow. And though we may not be able to have the impact worldwide, right? What do we have impact on? We have impact of who's in front of us today. Who do we know in our community? And all of our shops take a lot of pride in being able to help somebody in the moment in our community, right? For our business, it honestly makes good business sense to take care of our communities. If we're building our communities, well, ultimately we're building our prospects of customers, right? And I hate to turn to dollars and cents, right? But we do want to figure out how this relates to business, right? If we're investing in our community, and through that investment, the financial wherewithal of our customer base, the education of our customer base all increases, well, that is an additional advancement within the community that ultimately leads to them being more prospective and better customers of us, right? So again, that's a pretty selfish look at it, but I try and have that outward view that I'm not after it to really get a better customer out of it. But in the long run, that's exactly what we're doing. When we invest in our communities, we're raising the level of our communities, through education and financial performance. And ultimately, that does come back to us as business owners. It does support us in the long run. You just have to be able to see that when you're helping somebody right here, right now. We donate to local churches here locally, be it families in need or single moms or folks that are just having a hard time. We have the means and the ability to fix cars at a pretty dang good economic rate. And so when and where we can, each month we take in any number of cars every month for these folks, and we fix them at no charge to them so that they can then use the funds that they do have to take better care of their family. And ultimately, again, it gives them a step up. So again, how that translates to the entire industry, well, it'll be seen over time. Right now, the more that we can have these impacts locally, I do believe, and I think that the Delanys are also of that mindset that, we're going to have impact to the folks that we know and that we see locally, and that'll get out there, right? We have these conversations. We're in the Transformers group. We have other connections that people hear and know about, and they say, you know what? I don't know what you're doing, but I want some of that. I want to be part of that. I want to feel that. And that's where we start to have industry impact.
I love what you're saying. Yeah, I don't believe you do things from a philanthropic perspective for personal gain. I don't. I think you do it out of the goodness of your heart and to help people. I mean, that's exactly what I heard you say.
No.
And because we can, and because we have the talent, we have the expertise, we need to do for others the things that people come to us for. And again, I just don't think we're stopping enough. You know how fast life goes by, how quick it is. Snap your fingers, a day goes by. Cough, and a week goes by. It's just boom. And we don't stop enough to think, what should we be doing to pay it forward, which is, if you will, the theme of this entire episode. We have the talent, we have the expertise. People come to us to solve these problems. Why don't we go out to people and solve their problems with transportation, give them safe and reliable transportation? There's a community out there just waiting for you to knock on their door. In fact, if you're in a BNI group, a chamber, whatever, and you're not asking, what can I do to help the community? Not because you're looking for it to come back to you, but because you have a giving heart. That's our focus of this Paying It Forward episode, and the inspiration that Aleta, Kevin, Jeremy, and Fernando can give for us. Am I speaking the truth here, guys?
Absolutely. Yes. You know, I've sorry, one last thing, and I'll let you guys jump in here.
Yeah.
I've looked at a really good month on my profit and loss statement. I felt good about it, right? I was like, hey, we did well. That's good for us. I've shaken the hand of somebody that we've helped fix their car. There is no comparison to how good I felt in shaking that person's hand, knowing that it actually had maybe a negative impact on our profit and loss statement that I felt good about. I feel so much better about just helping that person and giving back to them exponentially more than looking at what a good month on a profit and loss ever felt like. There's just no comparison on the positivity that comes out of helping somebody versus looking at financial success.
Can I bring up a very interesting twist on that?
Jeremy, I can't agree with you more. Oh.
No, go ahead, Kevin.
No, I just wanted to agree with Jeremy. It's just one of those things that, yeah, it's we're always so busy in life that sometimes we can't give our time, but sometimes that financial support or financial help just it is so much more gratifying than just, well, like Jeremy said, looking at our own dollars and cents, right? Like, it's families that were the local community, the food bank, whatever. Sometimes a dollar is I wouldn't say it's a lame substitute, but it's at times it's the only substitute I've got, because working in our businesses, we can be just so busy. Giving of our dollars is what they need, right? So it's a very positive event for sure.
He just said something pretty powerful, giving of our dollars. And Jeremy, I loved your analogy. We had was a profitable month. I loved it. We looked at our financial statements, and we help people. Probably could have been a bigger bottom line, but we're really good with this because the handshake, the eye contact, the smile, what you felt and saw from the person you helped. Is it possible that some shop owners don't want to go this far because their profit isn't as strong and they're fighting for every dollar to put into the bottom line? If you think about being in Transformers and the great networking and the great learning and the great KPI, all the stuff that you've learned by being inside of Transformers has created better, bigger, stronger bottom line. And I'm just guessing that it's helped you. And when that helps you get there, it's probably easier to spend because you got it to spend.
Yes. There was a point uh, earlier in my career of owning my shops that I was extremely stressed out about cash flow and making it all work and managing payroll and everything that went into our business. And it was around that same time that I met with some leaders of our church community, and we came up with a program to donate money every month to folks in need. And it was no sooner that we agreed to step out on our faith and make those donations through auto repair that the worries and the concerns of cash flow and making it all work went away. I mean, it was within weeks, things just worked out. And so we haven't thought about or worried about cash flow or the ability to do this since then. So it was stepping out and saying, you know what, I'm going to do that first. I'm going to give first. I'm going to sow first, knowing that the harvest will come, right? It's really hard to harvest if you've never sown, right? So for me, it was an experience like no other. And so it taught me that, yeah, I need to give first. I need to sow first. If I'm ever going to have a harvest, if I'm ever going to reap, well, I've actually got to make the investment first.
Wow.
To gate it back.
That sure took away my thunder. It was divine intervention.
I believe so.
Wow, how cool is that? Fernando has been having, I think, an internet problem. He's just back with us right now. Good to have you here. We've been going all over the board with this great program and really talking about how we take that inspiration and bring it to our local communities.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, sorry, I have had a little bit of internet issues here at the Transformers headquarters, but I knew that you were in good hands because Jeremy, Kevin, and Aleta have a great story to tell. I think what I wanted to, I guess, expand on what I said earlier. Bragging was not the right word. It was more about bringing awareness to some of what they do and some of what a lot of other successful shop owners and a lot of folks in our industry do. They're all about giving back and being more involved with the community and doing everything they can to help, right? Even if it's a little bit, even if it's donating their time, or again, the summit was a really good opportunity to kind of bring everyone together and do that at a bigger level. But this is something that our folks in our industry do every single day, right? Uh, without anyone knowing about it, because it's not about that. It's about really being involved.
Without hesitation. So, Aleta, Kevin, what are you guys doing locally up in Kelowna? That I mean, we don't care about the numbers and sense of it all, but what else are you guys doing to support the community?
We have a farm called Helen's Acres, and they brought in their vehicle to be repaired, and that was the first we had heard of them, and so Kevin was working with them and talked to me because he wanted to donate majority of the repairs to them, to do a lot of it for free. So we did that. And then since then, Kevin and our family have gone to the farm to help plant plants. So what they do is this land was donated to them, and they grow food, vegetables, fruit, and they supply it to the Mission Gospel and the food bank. And so Kevin and my son went one day, and they planted potatoes. And then there was another week they went and did a little bit more. And then we had approached our staff, and we had a morning where all the staff went, and we had a morning hours of picking some berries, pulling weeds, whatever they needed to be done at that time. And as a event, team building thing for our staff as well. And so that's an ongoing thing now that part of one of the organizations that we are helping out in our area.
I mean, there it is right there, everyone. Has nothing to do with automotive repair. I love it. Planting, picking, serving food at the community outreach centers.
And then when we
Wow.
went, people brought their employees brought their children, grandchildren, all participated in it. It was a very humbling experience and really, really great. Everyone had enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, somebody in the industry don't hesitate to give the money for a sponsorship, the 4x8 sheet in the back of the ball diamond, those kinds of things. But I love the inspiration for paying it forward, and the bike program from Transformers was completely beyond just a monetary donation. Yeah, you did give money. I get all that part, but it was to see what something like a bike could mean to an individual, something like food, something like planting. We have more community things inside of our world than I think any of us know about that need help and support in all different various levels. And that's what this episode is about, to inspire you through this story to do something you've been thinking of doing, but just haven't pulled the trigger yet. And this is about getting that trigger pulled. So I'm thrilled to hear this story and to hear about what all of you are doing, the inspiration that each of you have brought. Let's just go around the room, do a last call. And the objective here is this. We're here to inspire the rest of the industry to kick it up a whole bunch of notches as far as what you're doing for philanthropy. Let me do, Jeremy, I'm going to have you go last. We'll do Fernando, Aleta, Kevin, and then Jeremy. So Fernando, your last word.
Yeah. No, thanks, Carm. I think about it's also a great opportunity to get your team involved. And as I said, right, it's not about bragging, but it's about being a good example, you know. And if you get the team involved, it'll, first of all, it'll bring you to get more together as a team, but it'll give you the ability to multiply the effort and inspire more and more people, which is, I was really excited about this episode because of that, right? It's about inspiring people to take action and know that every little bit that they do or will make a difference for somebody. And then the hope is that takes, and then they are, the people impacted are able to then pay it forward and impact other people in the future as well. So thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for what you did to, number one, inspire your entire Transformer organization to change people's lives down there in Cancun, and for getting this team together and getting this story told. Aleta.
I just want to say, so many people are blessed in life, and like we are, and in business, and to give a little something to someone else who hasn't been as fortunate is just so moving, and it just, because it's really not a lot to us, and it can be life-saving to someone else. So go and think about what you can do and go out and do it. It like Jeremy says, it gives you more satisfaction than anything else, more pleasure than anything else.
Boy, how true is that, huh? Wow. Kevin.
I was thinking about it, and kind of what Jeremy was talking about. This universe kind of works in a mysterious ways, but to me, it's what you've got to give. We can't always receive, right? So ultimately the kind of outflow equals inflow. And if you're not, if you're struggling and you're, always think about, the other person out there that's struggling even more, and that the the universe usually usually takes care of you. And so and that's been our business philosophy since day one. And it we're very happy with, we're very blessed with our businesses and life in general. So it's I don't know, just the universe will take care of you. You take care of it, it'll take care of you.
Thank you for that. By the way, I think I got a subtitle for this episode, right? We're going to call this episode Pay It Forward, but the subtitle should be Outflow Equals Inflow. Love that, Kevin. Thank you so much for that. Jeremy, you got the last word.
No problem.
Well, Kevin, I'm gonna take that one. So I hope you don't mind me stealing that phrase. Outflow equals inflow. I love that. I would challenge the listeners out there, if you're thinking about doing something, if you're thinking about getting involved, go try it. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be something that's going to change your entire community, in this moment. But if you're thinking about doing something for your community, give it a shot. See what comes out of that. And I bet you that you won't stop if you truly go and do something that'll bring you some joy and help your community. Once you try it, you'll be hooked. So I challenge our industry, I challenge our listeners to go try whatever it is that's been on your heart and on your mind to do for others, and you'll see the positive outcome from it.
Wow. I have goosebumps. You guys all did so well. Well, thank you very much. So our goal in this episode was to inspire you. If you learned anything, I'm sure you did. Now, go get it done. Thank you, Fernando, Miranda, Kevin, and Aleta, Delany, and Jeremy Behling. So appreciate you being here and telling this great story. Pay it forward. Outflow equals inflow. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carm.
Thanks.
Take care, everyone.